want to start,
You
Jez?
want to go from this end?
My name's Jez Lowe. I'm part of the Pitmen Poets.
And I'm Billy Mitchell, and I'm also a part of the Pitmen Poets.
And I'm Bob Fox, and I'm part of the Pitmen Poets. Pitmen Poets first got together around about 2011. I was asked by a swanky venue down in London called the King's Place if I could take a group of people down that could sing for the Londoners some songs and tell some stories about what life was like in the Northeast. And so I got Billy and Jez and another great singer called Benny Graham. And we went down and we did a concert. We didn't have any plans. We didn't know what on earth we were going to do. So we talked about it in the car on the way down. And basically we sat on stage and we sang songs from where we come from our backgrounds. And we told stories about life and in the Northeast coal mining communities, because that's where we all come from. Our roots are all in the old, in County Durham and Northumberland coalfields. So that was how we started.
And so what inspired you to bring the Pitmen Poets back together for this then, and why now?
Well, since then, that was around about 2011, and since then we've toured every couple of years, and each time we've decided to tour, we've sort of thought, this will be the last one. This will probably be the last one, and then we've a year's gone by, and we've got together and said, shall we do it again? Yeah, let's do it again, because it's good fun. We all enjoy playing together. The audiences enjoy it as well, because it's not just a show of coal mining songs about disasters and strikes and things like that. It's actually about what life was like in the communities and all the humour that was around. Because in all of those hard working places there was always hard humour as well. So the show that we put together basically is, a few songs, a few stories, a few laughs. Audiences can join in with the choruses and things like that. So it's just generally a bit of entertainment, but all based on the Northeast culture.
Mm-hmm. I guess you've touched on it there, but how do those songs that you're performing, how do they reflect those realities?
Well, very much so, because we called ourselves the Pitmen Poets. There was a songwriter from Stanley in County Durham, a man called Tommy Armstrong. And the phrase was first coined about him. He was called the Pitmen Poet because he was an ordinary, uneducated coal miner, and he wrote about 30 or 40 songs, and each one of those songs was about something that happened just in the area. And Jez wrote a great song called the Pitmen Poets for us to sing, and it's basically about the fact that those songs were written by people who were there, present at the events. So the songs were the truth, because sometimes the truth wasn't reported properly, in those days. And so all of these songs are telling the truth about what happened. Humorous things, serious things, all kinds of things.
But now Jez has taken up that mantle in the modern day.
Yeah.
Jez writes most of the modern songs that we do. I write a couple, but Jez writes most of them. Tell them about them, Jez.
Well, it's trying to continue that tradition of songwriting based in the Northeast, and then we know now, that the coal mines are over and done with, and the sort of that whole thing is passé really. But there's still a need. I think people need sort of songs to represent what's going on. And it seems to work, because the audience, we've played it all over the country. We don't just do the northeast of England. We've been in the south of England, Wales, Scotland, and everywhere. And people sort of seem to need a kind of an escape, into these songs. And so that's basically what I try to do, and that's what I offer the band.
I think the audiences can connect with the songs because the songs were written by real people. They're not manufactured songs. They're songs that were written about, from their own inner passion about what was going on. And funnily enough, a lot of the older songs are still just as relevant today as they were 100 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, quite a few years ago, because the three of us, the three of us are all the first of our generation, of our families, who didn't work down the pit. All were, elder brothers and dads and granddads all worked down the pit. But we never got the chance to go down. It's been in my life, to be honest.
Shame.
But a few years ago, I was asked to write some songs about my upbringing in the Northumberland coalfields. So I wrote some songs as well. So we'll feature a couple of those in the act as well.
And you mentioned it there about the fact that it's got the popularity all around the country. What they're very northeast based sort of songs. What do you think makes it so relatable? You still talk about the person, I guess the personality coming from within the person writing them, but as songs, they're very much of the region. What makes it relatable as you go around the country?
Well, it's just the best region in the country.
I think it's
a long way.
I think it's a humanity in the songs, I think it doesn't matter that they're from here. Again, going back to the fact that they're written by people who were there, including these two. I mean, the songs that they write are also very, very very passionate. I end up doing the Tommy Armstrong songs because I don't write songs. But I think that people can relate to them. It doesn't matter whether you're a farm labourer in Cornwall or whatever you are. You can relate to the things that the ordinary working people had to go through.
And in what ways do you think the legacy of coal mining shaped the identity and culture of our region today?
Oh, totally.
I think absolutely, yeah,
Totally.
absolutely. I mean, it's in the language. It's you hear people you hear people still today using what we call pitmatic language. Where I come from in County Durham, you still call your friends your marras, and your marra was your workmate down the pit. There's kids talking about the marras who haven't got the faintest idea. They must think they're big green vegetables,
It's the humour as well,
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of it,
Yeah.
because it must have been a bit, well, I'm sure it was really tough working down there, not just in the coal mines, but in the shipyards and all of the heavy industries. You had to have humour, or you wouldn't go to work, would you? You couldn't have a laugh with your mates, Yeah.
And I
And
think
I mean, all of the lads I knew that worked down the pit, they were all very funny. I mean, if you ended up in the working men's club, which is another thing that's dying off, but in the working men's club, everybody was a comedian. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely. So, how do you balance? You've talked about the different songs that you perform. How do you balance preserving the traditional material with the new songs that you're creating for the modern audiences?
it's changed as we've gone on. We sense it when we get together every couple of years, as Bob said. We can feel what the vibe is, what we want to do with the next tour, and we know by then, depending on what's happening in the world, what the concert will need. And so we just balance it out. We like to keep the old Pitmen Poets stuff in, the Tommy Armstrong and the Alexander Barris and all these people. But then there's also you can just sort of sense it almost, and so we just go with the flow, really, and it seems to work, and the audiences seem to react to it.
I mean, when we kicked off, I think we were probably heavily political.
We definitely were.
Well, I know we were, and we still are inside.
I think the audience has changed. The reaction from the audience when we started, in 2011. How long was that ago? 15 years ago.
Yeah.
There was a real connection with the political stuff, because folk music and these songs have always been a little bit left wing and socialist, and you could sense that the audience were with you. And as the years have gone by, subsequent tours, you begin to feel that they're not quite as politically motivated anymore. And so we just tell jokes and put the big clown feet on and do juggling and stuff, entertain the masses.
So, what do you hope that people across the country will take away from your performances this tour?
A CD.
2 CDs. 2 CDs in a book.
We've just released-
He's an author as well,
Absolutely.
He writes books. So
We've just released a new CD, a live CD that we recorded on the last tour over in Keswick, in the Lake District. So that new CD comes out for this tour.
And so, can you tell us a bit more, like, the details of this? Where are you going, and when are you starting?
I have it right here on this wonderful leaflet, which I designed myself.
Very good.
Well, I mean, as has already been said, we on previous tours we used to go all around the country. We've kind of limited it a little bit now to places where we know they like us. So we're going to Beverley, Shrewsbury, Otley, Buxton, Barnet Castle, Gateshead, Alnwick, Hexham, Billingham, Whitley Bay, Durham and Sunderland.
Excellent. So, when does the tour start and finish?
It starts on the 18th of June in a lovely little theatre called the East Riding Theatre in Beverley, and it finishes in a fantastic venue in Sunderland on the 12th of July called the Fire Station, which was actually the fire station at one time.
That's why they called it.
The fire station, I
That's
think.
it.
Good idea.
Thought long and hard about that. I guess just quickly then, thinking about, you said the audiences seem to be getting less political. I guess the songs, you're saying the songs are still relevant now because of the politics that's in folk music and in those songs.
Yeah.
I mean, do you hope, you made a joke, I guess, about what you're hoping the audience to take away. Obviously you want them to take away as much merchandise as they can do, but like, in terms of, you must have been 15 years ago trying to put a message across.
Yes.
Has the message changed, or has it got stronger, or have you
The message hasn't changed.
No, it's still the same.
It's still the same message, and that is that we really need to look after each other and you know, and try and be, I don't know.
Solidarity, you know,
Yeah.
like sort of just to bring everybody together. And I think people, they want the, you know, political awareness, but they want humour as well. I think we found that on our separate gigs as well that we do when we're not doing this. People want to have a good night out and get away from, you know, the 24-hour news cycle that's been pummeling us for the last however long. You know?
Exactly, yeah. We want to entertain, we want them to go away after having a good time, listening to what they should be listening to and joining in with what we hope they'll join in with. But maybe go away with something to think about as well.
A bit more awareness of stuff, things. Yeah.
Not just history though, what's happening now.
Aye.
Yeah.
Absolutely, exactly. And I guess with that then, have the audiences changed? Like, in terms of like age, demographics, stuff like that? Or are the audiences getting older as you get older?
So the audiences are
Well, they do, but the older people bring their kids or grandkids, and hopefully that will continue. You know, we can play to any age group, and have done, and will, and hopefully will continue to do so.
Well, it's also a bit of education. You know, I mean, there are no pits anymore, thank goodness. And you know, if grandparents are bringing their kids and parents are bringing their kids, you know, they're saying to the kids, you know, this is what it used to be like when we were kids. This is what it used to be like.
Yeah. See those three old men on the stage?
Aye.
They used to be the same age as you.
Don't believe it.
So, do you think, is that an important thing then for the music to be trying to keep these stories alive and keep the history alive,
Yes.
keep it going generation to generation?
Yeah.
And with that, are you hoping you'll inspire the next generation of folk musicians then?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a huge, you know, loads and loads of musicians, new young musicians that have heard us and they've heard folk music generally, and they're wanting to play it. What the stumbling block is to actually get listening audiences of that generation to come out and hear it. But when they do, they love it. They say they lap it up. Honestly, it's no exaggeration.
But we talked about this when we got together a few days ago to start rehearsing for this tour, and Bob just actually came out with it and said, "Have we still got something to say? You know, have we still got something to say with this show that we're going to do now?" And we all believe we have. You know, it's still the same message.
But that's not because we've changed. It's because the general population have changed. You know, populist politics now is the thing, and we're still, you know,
Back in the last century.
on the left. That's what I mean by that.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
don't mean back in the left.
Over there.
I mean over there on the left.
Yeah.
Slightly left of centre is.
Well, that's never going to change, is it? You know.
slightly left to centre. The centre keeps moving further and further right, though, doesn't it?
Right, that's right. Yeah. Well, we're not further left than that then.
So that's all my questions. Is there anything you think I've missed, or anything that you particularly wanted to say that we haven't talked about?
I don't think so. Just
That was great.
tell your listeners and your watchers to come and see us,
Come and have a look.
and hopefully they'll have a good time.
They will.
Yeah.
They'll definitely have a good time.
Well, I will.
Well, I will.
Will you, Jez?
No,
Perfect. Well, thank you very much